and joined by Richwood coach Gary Roach. And coaching Roach, you got to get it right. So, hey, first of all, Gary, you guys have a really, and I'm just noticing from seeing these guys today, they're a really huge team. You told me before they're big, but to see them, you really understand how big they are. How much of a factor is that going to play for you guys?
I think that's at least a little intimidating factor when they get off the bus, see how big they are. We always try to let the big guys get off first, but then it just comes down to what they do on the field.
How much, you were talking about your line, for example, how much do they average tackle to tackle?
Our left tackle is Tyler Workman, and he's the smallest one, and he weighs 220. And then our left guard is Tater, 6'3", about 380. Center's 6'1", 250. Right guard is 6'3", 370. And right tackle, there's a battle right there, but both those guys are 6', 6'1", 275.
So you're talking about a line that averages about 270, 280.
Oh, at least, yeah, they're massive.
Have you seen a line like this in your career? This big, I mean, just by sheer size.
No, I mean that's a pretty big line. I haven't seen anybody that big.
And then you factor into that, you're going to have a running back, Doy Ward. I think you told me he's about 220.
Yeah, 215, 220, and our fullback's about 210, 215.
So you can really put a team out there that can move some people around.
Hopefully, that's the plan. Yeah.
Do you? Then you've got Caleb Johntua, who's actually probably, in my opinion, one of the best dual quarterbacks in the area.
Yeah.
He can run the ball, he can pass the ball. I would imagine with the size that you've got up front, you can do a lot of things with him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not going to be a secret. He's going to be the guy with the ball in his hands. I mean, a lot of people ask, is he going to be the running back, receiver? Because he got all state as a freshman as a receiver.
Right.
But we want him at quarterback still, and the ball is guaranteed in his hands every play.
Now, you were going to start him out in his career. I think you were an assistant at the time. You were going to start him out as a receiver, but it kind of worked out where you had some situations and he was able to get in there at quarterback a little earlier, probably than you guys envisioned. How much do you think that's helped him along the way, just to be able to get in there a little earlier than you thought he would and actually play some varsity time, maybe 5 games his freshman year at quarterback?
Oh, well, now it's definitely helped him out. I mean, because he came in, that was his freshman year, the year we made the playoffs. And he came in, played the last few games at quarterback, still had almost 1,000 yards passing, almost, I think, probably 800 or 900 rushing, still had 400 yards receiving. And the playoff game, he set school records with passing yards and passing touchdowns in a playoff game as a freshman.
So, I mean, when you're putting up those kind of numbers, you probably think, well, the sky's the limit. Now, he's been banged up, but he's been willing to go out there and put it on the line for you guys. That probably earns him a little bit more respect, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he's one of the first quarterbacks I've seen that got a targeting call on him last year when he was running the football. He lowered his head and they threw a flag on him and almost ejected him, but they overturned it.
So they did overturn the targeting? So
Yeah.
the quarterback got a targeting call.
Yeah,
that might be a first.
Yeah, he lowered the boom on that kid too, and it was awesome. I saw that flag go up. I'm like, this is probably the first time I've ever seen this.
Now, well, speaking of that, you played at Nicholas County yourself, and you coached here, and you've been here for a little while now. Is John Twan one of the better athletes you've seen at that position? And I say that because there are a lot of pretty good dual quarterbacks who've come through single A ranks in the last 2 or 3 years. But is he right there?
I know I'm going to be a little biased on this, but I think he is one of the best players I have seen. Not only in the area, but in the state.
Is he a kid you think that can play at the next level?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, he's already got some looks from some smaller D1 schools and a lot of D2s. And a lot of reason he's not getting more recognition is because we haven't put up the wins to get him recognized more.
Tell me about the day that you found a picture of Josh Heights, your huge offensive lineman. You found it, I guess, in a Richwood paper, an old Richwood paper. What paper was that in?
Well, when I was growing up, me and him were neighbors. I mean, he was just a little baby, of course, but his mom, like, we knew her as a family friend, and she posted it on Facebook. It might have been his birthday or something, and I'm definitely going to have to send you that picture so you can post it. But we saw it. He had the little stash or whatever it's called that said Mr. Potato or Mr. Tater or something like that. So yeah, it stuck with him. He just goes with it.
And the good thing about it is he likes it. So,
Yeah.
you can't beat that. Defensively, what are you guys going to do this year? Are you going to try anything different? Are you going to stick with what you've done? Because again, I'm sure you can put a big team out there, but I'm sure you might want to switch up some places to be more athletic.
Yeah, it just depends on who we play. I mean, we can go from a 5-2 with a walk down safety, so it's like a 5-4 in the box against a heavy run team. We can do a 4-3, a 4-4 with some quicker guys in at DNs and outside backers, just depending on who we play. And with like versatile guys like Tyler Workman, he can play nose guard, DN, linebacker, and John Twall can play DN, linebacker, safety. So
Now, Tyler Workman is a kid that has a nickname as well, right?
yeah, T-Bird or T-Bizzle, T-Money. He goes by all of them. T-Bird is the main one.
Why is that?
He's an old school guy. He combs his hair to the side, wears the low ankle socks you can't even see. I always yell at him all the time in practice, wears his socks.
And you said there's a specific movie that he likes, right?
Grease.
I
Wears
gotta-
the T-Bird
I
shirt
gotta
all
tell
the
you,
time.
Gary, that's one of the worst movies of all time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Oh, don't tell him that. He'll try to wrestle you right here.
he's a little bit bigger than I am, and he is a wrestler. How does that wrestling help him, do you think? Is that making him a better offensive lineman? Because while he is your smallest one,
Yeah.
he's obviously pretty active too up there.
I think it makes him better as for offensive linemen, especially him playing the blind side left tackle, it has a lot to do with his athleticism, which is moving around on the mat and all that stuff. But I think it helps him more on defense. Staying low, wrapping up. And I'm not a wrestler, but I know that's that's the main stuff. So.
What are your expectations for this squad this year?
If we stay healthy, I know every team says that, but there is no excuse that we should not make the playoffs. I know that we have a tough schedule with multiple playoff teams, but we're a veteran team now. Years past, we could say, oh, we're freshmen or sophomores. We're all juniors. Still got some sophomores playing, but multiple starters back.
Is this, and I've talked to some other single A coaches, is this one of those years where you can maybe have one of your better teams, maybe it won't be reflected in the final record just because of the talent that's out there on, each Friday night?
Oh, without a doubt. We looked at our schedule, and 8 of our 10 opponents have made the playoffs within the last 2 seasons. So, that's hard to, you don't see that very often.
On the other hand, if you win games like that, it's probably going to be a point bonanza as well for you.
Yep. So with our record, just a few years ago when we made the playoffs, we were 6-4 as a 15th seed because of our tough schedule.
Do your players understand what kind of player you were when you played in Nicholas County? Do they know? Do they really know what Gary Roach did during his playing days?
No, I try not to be that guy, but whenever I go out there to play scout team, maybe sometimes, like a couple of years ago, I'd let them know.
What was your biggest game rushing like? You were running back. What was the biggest game you had?
I think it was 300, low 300s my junior year, and then I had a handful of 200 yards my junior and senior seasons. But I had some good quarterbacks at teams. They couldn't double both
And you
of
had
them.
some records too, right?
Yeah, from most recent ones, probably most yards in a season, and I had the longest run for a touchdown until Will Mays broke that. He went 99 against Wyoming East, so you can't get any better than that.
I guess somebody could tie it, but
Yeah.
okay. And your expectations for this team then is playoffs or bust? Is that where you're at right now?
Yeah, and we're not going to use the excuse that we have a tough schedule. That's just obvious. There's other teams that have tough schedules too, but where you're a veteran team, this is my 6th year coaching, and 2nd year as the head coach. And one thing I've realized is experience is everything.
Being a young coach, what's the one thing that you've encountered that you like the least that you've had to deal with? Is there one thing, like is it the paperwork? Is there one thing that being a coach, this is kind of...
You can't keep everybody happy.
Right.
Everyone wants their kids to have playing time, and without us having a JV team the last few years, it's understandable. But this year, this is the most kids we've had in a while. So
You will have a JV team?
yeah, we already got a schedule for JV and everything.
How much will that play a factor, you think?
A lot, because we got, and I told John Twall and all these older guys too, that this freshman class we have is the best freshman class I've seen come through here athleticism.
How many
10.
are there? 10?
10. We got 31 players on the roster.
Is there one thing you do in coaching now that you didn't realize it would be as much fun as it's been?
I mean, I would rather coach than play, honestly. I mean, I played at Concord, and that wasn't as fun as high school. Nothing beats Friday Night Lights, but I like the game planning, the watching the film stuff. Honestly, I didn't do a whole lot of when I was in high school, so I like coaching a lot better. And I've been around a lot of successful coaches too, in college, high school, Coach Morris and all those guys. So I try to take a little bit of what they've taught me.
Okay. Hey, Coach, I appreciate the time today. Good luck this season.
Thank you, I appreciate it.